Hi guys, Kira here. We have got a couple of technical issues with the Q&A session tonight. Unfortunately, the rest of the girls can't take part because we're having a few issues with the webcams. So I'm doing it on their behalf. If you've got any questions, just let us know. Put them down on the comments below and I'll be happy to answer any of them. Just scrolling on my phone as we speak. Hi Deval, how you doing? So yeah, I'm sorry everyone that it's just me tonight, but just give us as many questions as you want and I'll try to answer them. The girls do apologize that they can't take part in this. We're going to be doing another Q&A session hopefully soon and we'll get all four of us taking part. So I've got one comment so far. So, hi Duval, how you doing? Hey. Hi Kizzy, how you doing? Hey. Duval's just said, okay, well, happy to have you at least. Nice to see you. All is good here. Hope you're doing well. Just doing a couple of things in the background just to get everything set. Right, we got our first question. How is the new album coming along and can I download it on MP3? The recording of the album's doing really well. Hopefully we should have an MP3 download for that too, plus the CD, etc. It'd be really cool if we could get it on vinyl as well. But yeah, it's going really well. We were our last recording session was back in October of last year. We were planning to go into the studio in February, but due to the lockdown, we've had to reschedule. Hello, Lance. Hope you're doing well, mate. Anyone got any questions to ask? Peter Bridge. Fortunately, I'm packing boxes urgently to downsize to stop this time. Rock on during rock down. Don't cut your hair. No, I have no plans to cut my body hair. I'm happy with the way it is. Hope you're doing well, Peter. So just to keep you posted, we've got a new Patreon page sorted out now. We've got a couple of things that we've just put up on there, more behind the scenes videos. We've also got some demos for people who have subscribed to the VIP and Gold tier. Oh, another question from Duval. Any chance of more live performances in the meantime? Yes, we hope there'll be more live performances. Just as soon as we get out of the lockdown, hoping to perform live again. Okay. Anyone got a question? When are you guys planning to come to Los Angeles? I'd love to do a gig in Los Angeles. I've been there a couple of times already. I went to NAMM a couple of times. I would really love to do a couple of gigs in United States. So, fingers crossed. Anyone else got any questions? Oh, can't wait to be able to see you play live. Last saw you at Percy's Whitchurch. Yeah, Stephen, we look forward to seeing you again at our gigs. So I'm really hoping we'll get to perform very soon. I mean, we do have a gig in March, and one would hope that will take place, but we'll see what happens. I can only say hope and fingers crossed with all the gigs that we're doing, because it's just we have to take every day as it comes. Hi, David. I hope you're doing well. Hi from Pittsburgh, USA. How you doing? I met you guys at the Viper Room 3 years ago. Unfortunately, I wasn't in the band at that time, so I'll keep that for the rest of the girls that Shelley and Laura. Hi, Robert. How you doing? Anyone got any questions? I'm just scrolling down and everyone's saying hi and hello. Anyone got any questions? Oh, Deval's got another question. One on a more personal side, if you able. Do you find that you are missing performing on stage and the whole band things, and how do you deal with them? That's a good question. Missing performing on stage. I do miss performing on stage so much. I mean, God, I think our last gig was in February 2020, and I just can't believe it's been nearly a year since we've last performed live, and we're desperate to get out there. And I'm again, I'm just hoping that we'll do a few performances. I feel like I'm repeating myself with all this. Sorry, but yeah, definitely hoping we'll do some more gigs. Hi, Gino. How you doing? Oh, hello, Art. How you doing? I did a little bit of info about the girls performing in California a few years back. I wish I was there, but unfortunately, I wasn't in the band at that time. Len Ashley says, "Who's your favorite bass player?" Well, I've actually got a couple of favorite bass players. So I would like to mention Neil Murray from Whitesnake. I know him, and he's a really good bass player. Tony Franklin as well. He's a phenomenal fretless bass player. And also the main guys, Jaco Pastorius, Billy Sheehan. Nick West is another one, Divinity Rocks. I mean, I can't just give you like one favorite. I've got every bass player has got like their own sort of style that I really like. I love the ones that groove. Where are the cats? Says Leanne Page. I think they're asleep. I know one of them's asleep outside of my band room, but I don't want to disturb him at the moment. Derek is it Petite? Derek Petite. Did you enjoy playing at Planet Rockstock? I absolutely did. I thoroughly enjoyed doing that festival. Absolutely brilliant crowd. It was a really a good show, and hope that we do that again sometime in the future. We do have a gig where we're doing Planet Rock Rocktober with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, Massive Wagons, and we're doing Sheffield and Bristol in October. Go to our website to get the dates. And again, I got the fingers crossed that that will take place this year. It would be really good to end the year doing a gig like that. Was do Lance Medina, how can I get merchandise from you guys? Very simple. You go on our website and order the merchandise there. But if you want a little bit extra, we've got our Patreon page where you can subscribe to. From £3 onwards, you'll get free exclusive access to behind the scenes footage of us recording our new album. You'll get limited edition merchandise if you decide to subscribe a bit more money to get more exclusive content. So that includes limited edition merchandise, which we vinyl, singles, etc. Signed lyrics from the band that's been signed. We also are doing lessons. I'm doing bass lessons for anyone who takes part in the VIP membership. If anyone wants to take part in one of those lessons. The link is on our Facebook page, and it'd be really cool if you guys check it out. What would you want to play for first song up, first gig? Lee Nelson says. You know what? That's I miss playing all of the songs. It'd be really. I think we probably might give the set list a bit of a refresh, like maybe start off with a different song, because we usually, from my knowledge, we used to start off with Live Rock and Roll, and we probably might get one of the new songs to start off with. It all depends how the flow of the set list goes, depending on what gig we do, but at this moment, I don't know what we want to start off with. So. But thanks for letting us know. Deval's actually sent a link of the for the merch. Derek Petit, I have booked all the Rocktober gigs with Kenny Wayne Shepherd, so looking forward to seeing you again. Look forward to seeing you too, mate. Davey Thompson, hey Kira, have you ever met Nikki Sixx and how do you rate him? Hope to see you girls at the Irish Bike Fest this year. Unfortunately, no, I've never met Nikki Sixx. Would I rate him as a bass player? I think as a guy that writes songs, he's brilliant. I mean, I'm a fan of Motley Crue. I would love to meet him at some point, and I'd like to chat with him. God, I feel very awkward doing this by myself. Yeah, would love to meet Nikki Sixx, definitely, and look forward to seeing you at the Irish Bike Festival again. Hopefully, if it happens. Martin Duke, hi, have you listened to Lacey Sturm's Life Screams album? Would love to hear you guys belt out her version of Roxanne. We'll check that out, and I'll give you an answer. Anyone else got any questions? No, it might be a spoiler territory, but do you have a favorite number on the new album yet, and which one is it? Um, I think my favorite of the new album is either Flying Free or Guilty. Those are the two songs that I really like at the moment. If you want to check those out, again, you go on the Patreon because you can have a sneak preview of what they sound like. But I think they're brilliant songs because Flying Free, we've got cello playing on there by Francesca. She's done a really good job on that. And Guilty is a really heavy song. I think the songs have a lot more heaviness to them than the previous albums. David Joseph says, do you have a favourite London venue where you have played? I've got a couple. I really liked playing at the Lounge. We were at, I don't want to say were, but hopefully we're going to be performing there on the 27th of March. And another venue that I've personally played that I really liked was the Blues Kitchen, because it was a good one. I played there a couple of years back. Oh, I loved the Big Red Bar, but unfortunately it doesn't exist anymore. It's such a shame it closed down because Big Red was a really good venue. One would hope that they'll probably revive again because we really need more venues like that. It's just such a shame because of what's been going on with COVID that a lot of venues have closed down. And yeah. But yeah, the Lounge, Big Red, Blues Kitchen, the Black Heart as well. I rate is a really good venue because it's quite close, compact kind of a gig. Dave Hunt says only just tuned in, but where do you think your first gig this year will be? Well, I've just mentioned will probably be the Lounge on the 27th of March, but we're hoping that will happen. It just all depends on what's happening with the lockdown at the moment. Andre Vinstra, when did you play your last show live? We did a gig at Café de Paris back in February for a function. And we also played Club 85 on Valentine's Day because that was a really good gig. We played there with a couple of other bands. David Joseph said Blackheart rocks. Thanks for answering, Kira. No problem. Keep our venues going. They need your support. Anyone got any questions? Martin Duke. You had a bit of an incident. Some arse jumped on stage when you started to play Zombie at the last Double Trouble rallies. How did that affect you guys? I know what you're talking about, Martin, but probably that question is for Laura, because I wasn't in that band. I wasn't in Joan of Arc at the time. So if you want to keep that question in mind for Laura for the next Q&A session, that would be a good idea. So she'll probably tell the story then. Oh, hello, Art. Keep trying through Patreon, but keep spreading the word about the band, and your support is much appreciated, brother. It's replying to one of the fans, to Val. Nice promotion, Art. Val says, are you doing any singing again on the new album, and can we expect more fun like you doing keyboards on bass? Actually, we are in the middle of writing more songs, and one of which I probably, well, could do lead vocals on It's just I'm still waiting on confirmation on what songs we're going to do for this album, because we've got already a couple recorded and we're in the middle of writing more material. And it's just what's the strongest songs and which ones need a bit more work. But I've written a song where I do a lead vocal on, so if it gets greenlit, yeah, hopefully have a song where I'm singing lead. Keyboards on bass. Well, I've got this new pedal. I don't know about keyboard, but definitely synthesizers. Actual harmonic synth bass. It'd be really cool if I can do some synth bass on the album or any future songs that we have. Dave Hatton says, how many guitars you got now? I see a reflection in the mirror and it looks like a shop full. Yeah, I've got quite a lot now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Oh, I've lost count now. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I think. Probably have to recount again. I've got a lot of basses, and I've got an upright bass as well. Lee Nelson says, have you found it easier to be creative with more time available during the pandemic, or harder as there's been less going on? I actually think we've had more time to be creative with songwriting than we did previously, because I think when we've got gigs, I suppose your time is spent more on practicing the songs that you already have and making sure that they're perfect for the gigs coming up. But now that we've got more free time, we definitely do have more time to be more creative and kind of think what we're going to do with the direction we're going. So yeah, because we've managed to write quite a lot of lyrics, melodies, etc., and already we've got a couple of full songs in the works. And hopefully when we schedule to go into the studio this year, we'll get them recorded. David Taylor asks, how's your new custom bass to play? Amazing. All I can say is it's everything and more. The guy who created that bass is Les Godfrey from Godfrey Guitars. He's based up in Canada, and he has created, as you can see, this in the back of me. There, that bass guitar for me, and it plays really well. Like it's great for everything. So if by chance, Les, if you're watching this, thank you so much. All the time. David also says, I really enjoy your YouTube channel. Glad you enjoy it. Hopefully I've got another bass video coming up shortly. To Martin Duke, by the way, Art is probably giving you the answer to that question about some guy jumping up when Joan of Arc was performing Zombie. Christopher, got another one. Christopher Johnson. Apologies if there has been asked or answered, but is the self-titled album from 2019, see on Amazon, the most current? Our radio station has been playing the band for several years now, and we love you guys. I want to make sure we're currently with anything that's being released. It's great. Well, let's hope that we'll get some new songs ahead your way, Christopher. Dave Hatton says that's a lot of basses. We'll love to hear the upright someday at a gig. Well, it depends if I can get the bloody thing on the train or get it all set up. But if you want to see me playing upright bass, there's a couple of videos on YouTube, and I did an acoustic version of Mad Worlds with Lauren Shelley with the upright bass. Paul Dennehy says, what's your creative process for songwriting? Well, I think it's different for each member. So for me, with the songwriting process, I think for me, it kind of happens naturally, where I might have an idea in my head, a riff in my head that I really, really like. and try to get it recorded on my phone or whatever before I start kind of thinking, right, I would like to use this in a song, or like to kind of build up on that. So I would usually even maybe start with, funny enough, I might even start with a bass line, or might have a melody in my head and try and build from that. It might be a different process with some of the other girls, because maybe you might start off with lyrics and then think about the musical side, what the instrumental side of the song. If that helps. So it says, thanks. All the DJs at Mark Skin Radio would love to hear we're picking up some new tracks. Awesome. Any more questions? Remind me, I'm just scrolling down. Anyone else got any more questions? Let's see if I missed any from the previous ones. It must. Dave Hatton says it must be hard transporting guitars. Well, it is a bit of a challenge. I mean, usually when I'm doing a gig in the UK or even abroad, I mean, I'm only taking one guitar, and I usually would take one of the bass guitars that's the most versatile. So usually before I got my Godfrey guitar, I used to use my Fender American Deluxe, because I had the fifth. Obviously, I had the fifth string, and I've got a lot more tone control with that bass. So it's very good if we're doing all sorts of sets and different songs. So rather than rely on having so many basses to carry and transport, I would pick the right bass that would be versatile enough to change with tones. Stephen Cundy says you're doing an awesome job. I hope I am, because I just feel. I mean, doing it by yourself is quite awkward, but I'm glad that you think I'm doing really good. I mean, much appreciate that you guys think I'm doing really well, even though I don't have the rest of the band with me. I do, again, we thoroughly apologize that you couldn't get all the band members taking part tonight. Technology, eh? Davey Thompson says, have you ever played any gigs in Northern Ireland? Now, I don't know whether or not Joan of Arc have done gigs in Northern Ireland previously, but with this lineup, definitely. I would love to play Northern Ireland, love to play Belfast, etc. But I'm really hoping that we can get some gigs. But we definitely played Ireland, and we've got a gig coming up at the Irish Bike Festival. Again, we'll hope that it will happen. Fez Guy says, what was the first song you learned to play on bass, and which band got you into playing bass? First bass line I did, I think the very first bass line I did was Paranoid by Black Sabbath. I wouldn't say that was the band that got me into playing bass at first, because I don't actually know which band did. I just kind of thought to myself, right, I want to play bass, because there were so many bands that I liked, and I wanted to play bass lines from various bands. So Paranoid by Black Sabbath was probably the very first bass line that I learned. Then Money by Pink Floyd. What else did I do? I did quite a few punk songs to start off with, because punk is usually easy because it's 3 chords. And then eventually I decided to do a lot more complex pieces when I started kind of advancing with my bass playing. So that's when I started getting into Jacko, James Jameson, and even I did Hit Me With Your Ribbon Stick by Ian Dury and the Blockheads. Anyone got any more questions to ask? Ah. Test Government says, are we going to do a remix of Burning for the 10-year centenary? You know what? I actually do like to do some remixes of some of the songs that we've done previously. And it'd be really cool if maybe later down the line, if the new album goes very successful, we could do maybe an album where we do like these really cool remixes. I've always liked the idea of when people do remixes of an album. So, for example, White Zombie, when they did sorry if I don't if I get this right, the Super Sexy Swinging Sounds album, which is remixes of their album. God, trying for the second album. I really like the remixes that they really did for that. I like the techno and industrial aspect of them, so it'd be a good idea to do that. David Taylor says Norman Watt-Roy is an amazing bass player. Yeah, he is. I actually met him when he was performing with Wilco Johnson. Really nice guy. Um, when we After the show, we went to the bar and just gave our compliments to the show. It was really good, and we offered him a drink, and he asked for an orange juice. Didn't ask for a whiskey. Didn't ask for a beer. He just wanted an orange juice. Are there any other instruments that you play or would like to play? Well, I've got a new keyboard, so keyboard will be probably another instrument that I play. Although I wouldn't say I'm an absolute master at playing keyboard. I probably just use it for layering and just kind of laying some chords down for songwriting. But I mean, I started off playing keyboard when I was doing music in school. I mean, because piano was usually the first thing you start with. So, pardon. And it would be it'd be really cool if I could probably do a song on the keyboard and also lay down a melody. That should be really cool if we could get a keyboards player in. Based on keyboard. Well, I can do that. That's not a problem because one of the things I've actually been trying to do, and some people have actually seen this live, an attempt. I'm not saying perfect, but we did a cover of Highway Star by Deep Purple, and what I did was I tried to do the keyboard solo or organ solo that John Lord does on Highway Star, and do it using tapping on my bass guitar, and it's just trying to get that polished up. But I think it could possibly work, so we'll keep that in mind maybe for future gigs. Let's see. Sabbath and Pink Floyd are two of my favourite bands, says Fez Guy. Great influences. I started watching your YouTube channel, but didn't want to miss this Q&A, so we'll continue later. Okay. Yes, I was in a band a few years back and we played with Joan of Arc. Oh, that's really cool. But I believe it was prior to you being in the band in Walsall or Bilston, I think. Well, Fez, I joined the band back in 2019. I actually what introduced me to Joan of Arc is I used to be in a band called Cyteria with girls' school guitarist Jax Chambers, and we did a couple of shows with them down south. We played Big Red together, and I think we played a place called The Rigger at Newcastle under Lyme. That was another one. And back in, I think back end of 2018, I did do a couple of depth shows with them, as I did in 2019, and then eventually I joined the band officially in May of 2019, and the rest is history. David Taylor says, I saw that at Winter Storm, my favourite Purple track. So you've seen it. How did I do on that? Anyone else got any questions? I'm just going to shut this door. So I'm waiting for more questions. At the moment, we're doing songwriting, and we're trying to promote our Patreon page, because the Patreon page is how we're funding the album at the moment. So that's why we're really really would like you guys to take part in this. I mean, you don't have, I mean, just £3 goes a long way, because you get to see exclusive access of us recording in the studio. Plus, to those who do sign up, we did a really funny uncut version of a Patreon video. So we did a Patreon video just to kind of give people an idea what they get out of it. And it took nearly an hour to get it right. There was constant giggling, and there was a lot of effing and blinding, because we just weren't getting it right, like first or second take. So we thought, why don't we share it for the patrons, and they get to see like all of it where it just goes completely wrong. But it is really hilarious. But in order to see it, you got to take part in the Patreon page. But it's definitely worth it, I think. And David says you were spot on, loved it. Thank you. It'll be much more perfect when we do it when we get back to gigging. Don't even think much more perfect makes sense. David Taylor says the uncut video was so funny. Yeah, I couldn't believe it took that long to do it. Seriously. But I'm really glad you enjoyed it. We thought it was funny. I think everyone thought it was funny. Aside from that, we've actually uploaded some new unreleased demos. We're only putting snippets up for now, because we don't really want to give the game away for some of the new songs that we're doing. Although there is a full track of an instrumental of a demo that I've been working on. So we've given that to people who have signed up to the silver, gold, and VIP membership. But any future demos, you have to sign up to the gold or the VIP. David Taylor says, can't wait for real gigs to start again. Definitely, I'm really waiting for that to happen. I miss gigging so much. Anyone else got any more questions? I mean, I probably might give it another 20 minutes. Oh, hello. Dave Ann says, I have a couple of vids of the band at Cornwall Rocks on YouTube. You were very good drumming in Highway Star and Down by the River. Could you possibly send those links to us? It'd be really cool to check those out. I didn't even know that there were actually videos of us at Cornwall. That was a really good gig, that. David Taylor says I did 168 gigs in 2019 and 35 in 2020. Wow, 35 is really good because we just did three. But we had like a lot of gigs planned later in the year until all of it just got postponed or cancelled. It's just winter tends to be quite a quiet season for us, depending if something really good happens. With the new album, are you already planning on shooting videos when it's possible again? Yeah, we are planning to get a music video sorted out for this. We have a plan ready. It's just a matter of playing it, trying to make sure it goes with what's going on with COVID. So we are definitely going back into the studio, and hopefully once we get choose a single, we'll get a video to go with it. David Joseph says, where in the world would you and the band like to tour? Well, definitely the United States is one of them. I would love to do a tour in Japan as well. A European tour would be really good. Where else would there be? Canada definitely, because I owe a lot to Canada for Godfrey guitars. Definitely, it'd be really good to do a couple of gigs in Canada. But yeah, United States, Japan, and Canada, and a European tour would be the main things I'd like to do. Duval says, need any extras for the video? We'll have some extras. It just all depends on what the concept is, because we haven't written what we're going to do for a music video as of yet, but we'll definitely need extras, so we'll keep you in mind, mate. Let's see if I'm going to pronounce this right. Is it Tessite? Sorry if I haven't pronounced your name right. Really enjoyed making Burning back in 2011 with the girls, and reckon I can muster up some new lyrics for the 10-year centenary. Big up all band members and Samantha. Yeah, that'd be pretty cool. Again, I would love to get some remixes sorted out. How Deval Art has answered but your question. Lee Nelson says, can you remember the first gig you ever went to? Yes, I can. And actually, it was probably the best first gig ever for any young kid. And that would be Ozfest 2001. That is actually probably the very first gig I ever went to. I didn't just get to see one band, I got to see a load. And one thing I can remember from that is we had all 4 seasons of weather on that festival, and I think that probably put my parents off festivals for life, because we went there as a family. I probably must have been about, oh god, 7 years old when I went to Ozfest, and we had rain, we had sleet, we had sun. It was freezing, and it was absolutely muddy. All the stuff you want in a festival. So I really enjoyed that gig. I'm so glad that that was my very first gig, because I had a choice of either going camping with the Brownies or going to see the Ozfest, and I knew goddamn well what I was going to choose. Either way, I think there would have been crap weather. David Taylor says, how has the Brexit debacle affected your ability to tour Europe? You know, this I really don't know what's going to happen, and I think me plus a lot of musicians are really peed off that we don't know really what's going to happen if we're going to do gigs in Europe. But I know that we're trying our best to see if we can get to tour Europe visa free. But again, I mean, I'm probably not a very good expert on this, but all I know is this is going to be very difficult for a lot of touring musicians, and one would hope that we can try and get a compromise and we can perform Europe, because we really need to continue spreading live music to the world. So, but we do know that we have gigs already in place in Europe. We've got German dates. So we know definitely that we are guaranteed some dates in Europe, even with what's going on. So that's all I can say at the moment, but yeah. David Joseph said, do you have any superstitions before taking the stage to play? No, I'm not really a superstitious person. I do know that you need to have a wee before going on stage, or else you feel like, oh, I gotta go. I definitely think you need to go for a wee before you go on stage. I wouldn't say that's superstitious, but I definitely feel that's necessary. Chris Lee says, Mistress of Groove, keep bringing it. I will bring it. Christopher Johnson says, thanks for all the great info and answers. It's a real treat to get to meet you. I hope you can come to Boston one day very soon. Yeah, I hope so too. I hope you guys are enjoying this, because I mean, I don't know whether I'm saying something that is complete word vomit, because I'm just trying my best to kind of think as well as properly say something, because I mean, it is really weird not having the rest of the band with me, because usually it takes the edge off, but I'm really glad that you're enjoying this. I'll give you guys probably another 10 minutes before I decide to put a cap in it, but please, if you've got any more questions, and if there is any questions you'd like to say to Laura, Shelley, or Ellie, please keep those for the next Q&A session, because I mean, probably might not be able to answer certain questions, like the one about Ireland, so do keep those in mind. Chrisley says, post more solo bass vids. I am working on that, trust me, I am. Val says, loving it. Obviously, shame for the other girls aren't here, but you're doing well. Thank you. I really appreciate that. It's just a shame that the technology doesn't do what you want it to. What's that, Art? Ask for room temperature stage water instead of cooled refrigerator water. And that's not really a superstition. It's just my singing teacher said iced water can tighten up the throat, so that's why I have room water. I don't think that's got anything to do with superstition, but definitely can affect a performance. Paul Reddy says, just joined. I guess you had some tech problems. Yes, we did. We had some tech problems. The other tech problem I'm having is I was trying to share the live stream on other groups, etc., so people could join in, but Facebook on my mobile is really crap. So I'm being honest, it's completely updated, all this, that, and the other, and I've not been able to properly spread it. So if you guys could share this, I mean, if I can get a few more people, then I might give you an extra 10 minutes. So just if anyone is joining me right now, the rest of Joan of Arc couldn't take part because we had some issues with with the software that we were using, so I'm doing all the questions on their behalf. But if there's any that are directed to Shelley or Laura or even Ellie, keep those for the next Q&A session, and they'll be happy to answer them. So I'll try to answer as many as I can, but if any aren't really directed to me, I would suggest keep those for another time. Hi Keith, how you doing? Hope all is fine in the States. So there's some people that have already joined. So anyone else got any more questions about the album, the Patreon, etc.? Says hello from Boston. Hello. I probably should have done this later. We got a bit quiet, guys. Anyone got questions? Keith Mouse says, doing okay. How's it there? It's okay. Weather's been a bit crap, but doing okay. David Joseph says, wishing Joan of Arc all the best and hope we'll get to see you gig this year. I'm really hoping that it happens. Keith says, still in lockdown. Unfortunately, we are still in lockdown, Keith. I don't actually know when it's going to end, but one would hope hopefully in March, because we've got a gig planned at the end of that month. Volker says, greetings from snowy Germany. We've had a bit of snow as well. Only I'm based in Yorkshire. We've not really had any snow, but I heard it's really bad down the southeast of the UK. Oh, thanks, Deval. Thanks for sharing. Oh, we actually have a couple more views. David Taylor says, do we have a release date for the album yet? I know that's probably up in the air. We actually don't have a release date yet, and actually it's put a lot of pressure off us. We don't have this pressure on us to like be so quick to release it. I think it's great that we don't actually have like a expected date yet, because it means we can be relaxed and make sure that we put out a really, really good album. And we've got time to check if this is right, this is wrong, etc. So there's no pressure with us releasing it straight away, especially with what's going on at the moment. Yeah, Keith Mouse says, yeah, sucks, wants to get out and play some shows. Tell me about it, I really want to play. A lot of people want to perform. Elan says, I have to go now, but it's been good talking to you. Well, thank you so much for your questions, Dave. All the best. Oh, hello, Mick. Just joined us now. Oh, since a lot of more people have joined, anyone got any questions? I would like to say I could do this all night, but I can't. Keith Miller says, looking forward to checking out the album. We definitely, it's going really well, really well. You'll be impressed. Paul Bradley. What do you think of acoustic bass guitars? I almost bought one a few years ago to play along with friends with acoustic guitars, but I read that they can't really compete with the volume. Um, I don't I don't really have much experience with acoustic guitars, but when it comes to acoustic gigs, I actually like performing with the fretless because it just gives it a bit of color to the music, I think, because I think of what Jaco Pastorius did with Joni Mitchell, where he used the bass in a way to kind of paint a picture, not like do it in like a rhythm sort of sense, but to add atmosphere to the song. And I like that idea of using a fretless for an acoustic. So I've done acoustic shows before, but I've always used fretless. I never even bothered using acoustic. Um, I mean, maybe later down in the line, I probably might get one, but there's no rush. I've got more than enough basses to do the job. Mick Reese, Rice, Reese, sorry. Mick Reese, how is the bass? The bass is doing really well. Really enjoying it, mate. Keith Mouse says, how much is your new bass being used on the recording versus your other main basses? Well, I just got the bass guitar just after we did our last recording session. So the one I mainly used was my American Deluxe 5-string. So one would hope that I can use the new bass for the next songs that we're doing. So I just need to be patient and find out when we're going to next be in the studio. But I would love to use the new bass for the new album. What else have we got? Colin Haynes says, "What time frame are you looking at for the new release?" It could possibly be. Well, it again. We haven't got an actual exact date, but possibly maybe next year is probably where we're looking at. And that's just at the top of my head. So, yeah, I think probably we'll see maybe a release next year, along with the tour to promote it. Volker says, in the heart of Germany, -7 degrees, and it snows all the time. Ooh, cold. Mick Reese says, how many songs are left to record? I don't know, Mick. There's probably, I don't know if we've got 20 or 10 or 20 songs. I'll have to think how many we're going to put on the album. It says, how much singing are you doing on the new album? Well, there is a song I'm writing at the moment that might involve me doing lead vocal, but again, I'm not 100% sure that it's confirmed that we're going to use it for the album because we've got songs already in the works, and it's just a matter of we'll use this one, but we won't use this one because we have to think on which ones are the strongest structurally, and is there this flow going with the songs that we've already recorded? Will it work with all the other songs that we've recorded? So hopefully there'll be me doing some vocal. Unfortunately, for the last recordings, I haven't been able to do any vocal because of what's been going on with COVID. But there will be, I will definitely have a part in the vocals for this album. Colin says, hoping that when live music is a possibility again, that you make your way back to Sheffield. Loved your gig at the Mulberry. Brilliant night. Hope you'll be able to return there. Well, we're doing Planet Rock for October, and one of the shows is in Sheffield. So go to the website to check which date we're playing Sheffield, and you can see us there. We're definitely performing in Sheffield again. I think Mick's, I think Art's answered your question, Mick. Any more questions? It's more awkward being silent than talking. Mick says, how are the cats? The cats are doing fine. I mean, they're doing my bloody head in, but they're doing fine. Unfortunately, they're not around at the moment. They're probably sleeping somewhere, so I'm not going to disturb them. Barry Gray says, which artist would you like to perform with? I would like to perform with Hailstorm, Alice Cooper. Oh God, I'm trying to think. Who else would I like to? Joan Jett and the Blackhearts, definitely. God. It's not easy trying to think who you'd like to tour with, because there's so many bands I would like to tour with. But yeah, there's definitely a few names: Alice Cooper, Joan Jett, Hailstorm. Those would be really good bands to tour with. Mark Packham says, "Hey Kira, how's it going? All is well? I'll here. Hope you're doing well." Says, apologies if you've answered this already. Wondering if there will be any singles from the album being released before the full album comes out. Yes, there will be. There will be some singles that come out, plus the video to follow up with it. Where do we come from? Joan. Do you mean like where do all the members come from? If that's what you mean, I'm based in Yorkshire. Ellie's based down in Bristol. Laura and Shelley are based in is it Bedfordshire? Sorry if I probably haven't got that right, but I think they're based in Bedfordshire, somewhere near London. We like to say that the band is based in London, even though we're all in different parts of the UK. Paul Bradley says Hailstorm are great for supporting female rock musicians. They're a brilliant band. David Taylor says, who's your all-time favorite bass player? I don't have an all-time favorite bass player, because there are bass players I really like, and I take influence from all of them. So a handful I would that I like: Billy Sheehan, Neil Murray, Andy Fraser, James Jameson, Jaco Pastorius, Nick West, Pino Palladino, and I also like Leon Wilkinson from Lynyrd Skynyrd. Thanks, Mick, for the save. Laura and Shelley are based near Hitchin and Stevenage. So to answer the question of where we are all based, I'm based in Harrogate, North Yorkshire. Ellie is based in Bristol, and Laura and Shelley are based around Hitchin and Stevenage. Paul Hodder says, "Hi, what you missed so? What I missed so far? You missed quite a bit." Bob Packham says, "Do you like Cliff Burton and David Elverson?" Yeah, I do. I like Cliff Burton as a bass player. Just like I said, I can't pick a favorite. There's many bass players that give me ideas and influence. Karen S. Mills says, "How about bluegrass music?" I actually do like a bit of bluegrass. I actually like, there's one band I really, really like, and that's Hayseed Dixie. They're what's called a rock grass band, and they do an amazing job of doing covers of rock songs like AC/DC, Queen, Led Zeppelin, and that, and they do it in that bluegrass style. Like I would check them out really because they're really good. I knew that they were doing a couple of gigs back in the UK back a few years ago. Would have loved to have seen them. Mark Packin says, "When things go back to normal, do you think you guys will ever tour in South Texas?" I would like to tour the United States in general. I mean, I'd love to. I mean, the main states I'd love to visit. I mean, I've already been to Los Angeles, California, but there'd be other parts of California I'd like to visit. But I'd like to go to Texas. I'd love to go to Nashville, New York, um, New Orleans, Louisiana. I'd love to go to New Orleans because it looks absolutely amazing. Um, so those are like some of the main states I'd love to go and visit. David Taylor says, "Hayseed Dixie are awesome. Do a great version of Comfortably Numb." Yeah, definitely. Any more questions? Keith says, "Nashville, my second home." Yeah, I know. I really want to go to Nashville, mate. Ooh, I've done way over an hour. I mean, I'll probably give it another uh, 10, 10 minutes, probably. I mean, if there's any more questions, please let me know. Mark Parkin says, "What gauge strings and what brand are you using?" Good question. THS strings. I'm endorsed by them. I use their bass boomers, medium lights, and super steels. Medium lights. Use the 40 gauge usually. Very good. Keeps going out to the studio. Well, I'm glad you managed to pop in for the session. So yeah, I'm just gonna say I'm gonna probably do 10 more minutes. So if anyone else has any more questions, please let us know. And then I'm probably gonna have to wrap this up. But just to keep you guys posted on what we're doing, we've got a Patreon page where we are showing exclusive content, unreleased demos, and if you sign up to any of the tiers, from the silver to the VIP, you'll get signed merch, merch discounts, If you sign up to VIP, you can also get a bass lesson from me, or by request if you want a guitar lesson from Shelly, just let us know. Yeah, be great if you could take part in this, because the money is going towards us recording this album. So your subscriptions are very important. Mark Packham says, do you prefer 4 or 5 strings? Probably, I would say 6 and 2/3 on that, but I mainly have 4 string. But with Joan of Arc, I do mainly use a 5 string on this, so it just all depends on what's needed. But majority of my basses are 4 string. Fez Guy says, do you have a favourite hobby or pastime besides bass? Reading. I like to read. And exercise. I would like to say video games, but I've just never really had time for that. Don't even know where my PlayStation 2 is. Oh, thank you so much, Paul, for signing up to the Patreon page. Much obliged. We'll get some content, new content on there this week. And then thank you so much that you like the clips of the demos that we uploaded. Paul Dennehy says, "What's your favorite book then, and why?" Ooh, God. Trying to think of what's been my favorite book, because I actually read quite a lot of music autobiographies at the moment. But at the moment, actually, rather than say what my favorite book is, I could tell you what I'm reading currently. I'm reading the Jaco Pastorius biography, and I'm nearly finished that, and I think that is a good read for any bass player, because it doesn't just go over his accomplishments, but it also goes over his tragic life dealing with mental illness and alcohol and drugs. So it's a good insight with people who knew him best, and people who worked with him, and giving the story. I mean, the way he died was absolutely tragic, and that's how far I've gotten in the book. I don't want to give the game away, but I recommend reading that. I'm not saying it's my favorite book, because I don't have a favorite book, because I have so much to read. Who knows, maybe my next book could be my favorite book, and it just all depends. Mark Packham says, Ampeg or hardcore? Ampeg. David Tier says, when you people ask me what's my favourite gig, I always answer the one I'm at. Yeah, I think that's probably how it feels, because like going to a gig, like, oh, that was the best gig ever, and then you go to the next gig, oh, that's the best gig ever. You know, this old idea of favorite, I mean, it's becoming difficult because there's so much, you're spoiled for choice, I think, with a lot of things now. So I can't really pick a favorite when it comes to bands, when it comes to books or anything like that. Even TV shows are becoming difficult to say, oh, what's your favorite TV show? Because you're spoiled for choice now more than ever. Best Guy said, I did wonder if you played video games as it looked like a gamer chair. Yeah, a lot of people say that, do I play video games because I've got a gamer chair? I absolutely adore video games, but the irony of this is I don't play video games that really anymore because I was quite the gamer when I was a kid because I had a PlayStation 2, a Nintendo GameCube, and what else did I? Oh yeah, I had a Nintendo Wii, and I really did like playing games. It's just I think because with what's going on in my life, I just don't really have the time to do it because I think when you're gaming, you do spend. When I did game, I did spend more than just a few minutes on it. I spent hours on it, like hours of Crash Bandicoot, hours of Spyro the Dragon and Super Mario. So, oh, and I got really addicted to The Sims at one point. So that really didn't help. And I think after that, I just thought, nah, probably I've got to keep my mind on something that's something else. So, I mean, I do like the odd game of Guitar Hero, and I love fighting games. I mean, if I had a choice of a game I would like to try, if I did have the opportunity to play video games, I'd love to try out the brand new Mortal Kombat game because it looks bloody good. It really does. Because you get to play as Spawn, you get to play as Rambo. And looking at the previous ones, you had Leatherface and Jason. I mean, and the gore is just so graphic now. I mean, I played the very first few, and they said they were violent then. The people who did the rating system back then really should look at it now. If they're still alive, they would be turning in their graves. I've got a couple more minutes left, guys. So if you've got any more questions, please don't hesitate to ask. Because if you've got any questions for the rest of the girls of Joan of Arc, we will be doing a Q&A session. And I'm hoping that we don't have this issue again, but we know definitely what the plan B is if this does happen again. They'll probably ask us to do it. Mark Packham says, so cool to see female bass players. We need more. Definitely, we need more. We need more female musicians in general. We need more female drummers, I would say, because they're as rare as rocking horse shit. This guy says, Spyro the Dragon, know what you mean. Games take up a lot of time. Playing an instrument is more fun and more productive. Yeah, but if I wanted to marry those two things, it would be great to do music for the video game industry because I know of musicians that have actually gone in to do soundtracks for the video game industry. And it'd be really cool just if someone used a bass line of mine for a video game track, it'd be really cool. Paul Dennehy says, what bass scale should a beginner learn first? Well, if I had to give one scale, because I don't just give one scale to beginner students, because you need to know the basic scales. But if you're doing rock, the blues scale or the pentatonic scale, blues pentatonic and pentatonic scale would be the main one to learn first if you're doing rock or rock music. That's what you're aiming for. If you want to know, if you want to take lessons, just let me know. Because I'm so generous, I'll give you 5 more minutes. 5 more minutes, and then that's it. I think I'll call it a day in 5 minutes. So please, any more questions, let us know. Who inspired you to be a musician or bass player at your youngest age? Why the bass? Well, that's a good. I like that question because at first I actually wanted to do drums. I think probably my dad has been the main catalyst for me to become a musician. No, because my dad he had a career as a professional musician. He used to be in the band Raven, and he used to do session work, and he toured with bands, did functions and that. And music has been a big part of my life. So I think when I firstly started having the idea of playing an instrument, originally the drums were an idea. However, I was not good at it at all with the drums. I remember taking it up for high school and doing an exam on it, and I failed miserably on that. I got what would be the Scottish equivalent of a fail on my prelim when I did drums. And then I did bass guitar, and I did really good on that. And I like bass guitar. I've always had this attraction to the rhythm section of a band. So I took up bass, and I've continued to, I think I started taking it up properly when I was about 14 to 15 years old, and I've not stopped since. So, but I think me and my dad actually were discussing this not so long ago, that I could possibly have a little go at doing drums. Just doing basic rhythms. I mean, there's no bloody way in hell I could swing like him or do any of the more complex stuff, like paradiddles and everything, but maybe just do a simple 4/4 rock beat much better than I did at the very beginning, because with bass, and considering how long I've done it, my sense of rhythm and my sense of groove has changed drastically. But yeah, bass, the rhythm section has been my main passion. So bass guitar probably was the other thing I was attracted to if I couldn't do the other thing. And I've loved it ever since. And yeah, about in my teens is when I really took it up. Paul Dennehy says, does your cats like Dreamies? Yes, they do. But there's also another thing they really like, but we call it the crack for cats. They used to get frozen, freeze-dried chicken pieces. And every time we just opened that tin, they're right in the room, ready to eat it, and they just vacuum it up. Do not give your cats freeze-dried chicken, and you're gonna end up making them like bloody crack addicts. It's terrible stuff. But they love Dreamies. But basically anything, any treats in the drawer, they are there straight away. What was your first bass? My first bass, I still actually have. I got it when I was about 12 years old for Christmas. Is a Daisy Rock heart-shaped bass. I'll show you. This is the very first bass that I ever got, and it's much smaller than my usual basses, obviously, because it's smaller. Still small now, because everyone says, "Oh, the bass looks big on you," but I don't really see myself anytime soon really playing a heart-shaped bass now, because I do remember I performed with a band called Bigfoot, and they did this. They did one number where they were playing Hello Kitty guitars, and I felt that the bass player was left out. So I thought we need to bring him. Well, we got the Hello Kitty guitars. Why don't we give him a heart-shaped bass guitar to play? And he actually did that. I'm wondering if I still have the footage of that because it is on a line somewhere of Bigfoot playing a song with these Hello Kitty guitars and the Daisy Rock bass. But with shape aside, it actually is a really good instrument, and I have let my niece have a little play of it as well, because my niece actually is got an interest in music, and she's been having a little play around with my instruments. And also I've got a new keyboard, and she's been having a play. So I would be really eager to get her into music. Right, guys, I think I'm going to call it a day now because I've done nearly an hour and a half. So, like I said, if you have any more questions for the band, we will be scheduling another Q&A session sometime very soon. And hopefully we'll get all the band members to take part in this. So if you have any questions that were specifically for any band member, then you have the opportunity at a later date. Please, if you want to help us with our album, we've got the Patreon page. So all the money that we make will be going towards the album recording. So if you subscribe, you get exclusives, behind the scenes footage of us in the studio, signed merchandise, discounts, etc., and unreleased demo tracks. And just again, thank you so much for your support in this really difficult time. We are really hoping that we do a gig again, and hopefully it will be this year. I mean, we do have gigs planned and for this year, and we hope that they touch wood that they go ahead. And again, thank you for all your questions, and I hope you have a really good good week. And thank you so much. So I'll say goodbye now. Thank you so much. Bye.